Well, today's video is about my charger, and just to remind viewers, the car has been modified in 3 ways. First off, I have American Outlaw exhaust, like the entire kit by Flowmaster, American Outlaw, with cats, everything legal, but the mufflers are small and the sound is awesome. And then I did the long tube headers. And last but not least, the last upgrade was to add a tuner. Let's see if I can reach it. So I got the Diablo Sport tuner EX Trinity EX, and of course, to be able to use that, because this is a 2021 charger, you have to unlock the PCM. So what I did, I bought an unlocked PCM, and I replaced the factory PCM, which I still have, just to be on the safe side. And so now the factory locked PCM is in my trunk, in storage, and the unlocked PCM is installed. Oh, and I have a cold air filter, cold air intake, but that was already from the factory, because this is a Daytona. This it's like a $3,000 extra package compared to the regular charger. And of course, this is 5.7 Hemi V8. And the car, when they do the Daytona package, first off, they give you the cold air intake, and they put, you see these signs like decal, and part of the hood is black and the roof is black, and there's decals on the trunk. But surprisingly, it doesn't say 5.7 anywhere. It just says charger. So if somebody does not know, there's no way for them to tell if it's a V6 or V8. So I think I want to order something online, at least that says V8 or 5.7, because I feel really bad, like I'm driving a 4-cylinder car. But you'll hear in a second, you'll probably saw my previous videos about how the car sounds. It just sounds amazing, especially in the summer when you can, now I'm recording this on August 2022. What I wanted to do today is that recently I've been really enjoying semi-auto shifting, and that's what this video is about. This video is about how to shift your charger, because I don't know if people know about this. Many people know about this, but I think I had a Mazda Sport at one point in the past, and when you go for like a performance, kind of like slightly higher level vehicle than basic, and it's automatic, they give you a semi-auto mode, right? And this car, I would say it has 4 interesting modes. So the first one is basic, right? This is just your standard shifter. You move it into D in this position, and that's your standard fully automatic mode. And of course, the goal that the car is trying to achieve is fuel economy. So it'll shift up at the lowest possible RPM, and also when you take your foot off the throttle, it does not want to upshift, or downshift. So there's no braking from the gears, right? And then the second level, I would say, of performance is you still keep it in full auto, but then you click this button, Sport, right? And now what happens is that the car becomes much more aggressive when upshifting. It stays longer in the gear when you upshift, so the RPM will probably go up to like 3,000 or 4,000. We'll see in a second. And the coolest thing is that when you're slowing down, as soon as you take your foot off the throttle, in the sport mode and full auto, the car starts braking as if it's like a manual, because it stays in the higher gear. No, wait, it downshifts into lower gear faster, and so you feel braking, so the car slows down much faster, right? So those the full auto, and then of course sport. But the problem with the sport mode is that as soon as you shift into sport, even in full auto, you see a fuel economy penalty pretty much right away. Like I could see even by how many, the remaining distance on the current tank of fuel is, right away it starts going down, especially when you're in the city. So sport mode, it's nice, it's fun, but it's very demanding in terms of fuel. But then, so that's 2 modes, right? But then the third mode is semi-auto, basic, and the 4th mode is semi-auto with the sport mode. And that's what we're gonna demonstrate now as I start the car. Let me just put this on the tripod, which in this case is my head, so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right, are we cool? All right, I think we're recording. So we're going in a full auto mode first, and then we're gonna start our performance pages over there. I'm gonna put over here, we're gonna put what we're gonna put. See, like average fuel economy is pretty bad. It's 17 liters per 100 kilometers. Which I don't know, what is this, like 10 miles a gallon probably. So range, I have a 94 gas, by the way. I'm using 94 gas because the tuner that I installed, oh, and by the way, I had to get a custom tune, because what happened is that when we installed the long tube headers with the basic tune that was on that tuner, the basic one, I still had the check engine light because I have a high flow cats, right? And so I called Diablo Sport, and I actually emailed them. I said, who do you recommend for custom tuning? And basically, to my surprise, there was like a couple of guys only, and I emailed them, and it was all done by email. I forgot what it cost me. I think probably like about $250 US, but it was perfect. I asked the guy, give me 94. I said, and he asked me for a couple of files from my tuner. I did that, and then he modified them, and the check engine light disappeared. So anyway, so this is mode number 1, right? Full auto. And I see like the car upshifts at around 2000 RPM, actually even less. So let's see how it's upshifts and downshifts, because that's what I want to know. And there's hardly any braking, when you like I was saying, right, when you take your foot off the throttle, okay, it's probably 2250 RPM. So it's upshifts really early. That's the full auto. So now let's try the same, but mode number 2, as I was explaining, sport. So right away, as soon as I click the button, the car upshifts, or actually downshifts, sorry, goes to lower gear, and it's much faster. We can pass this old Chevy truck that's not sure where he's going. So this is the sport mode, right? So great performance, big fuel economy penalty. And you see, when I brake or I take my foot off the throttle, it really starts upshifting, which helps with braking. And so actually sometimes when I'm coming down on a ramp, and if I was in a regular mode like full auto on a freeway, I would click on the sport just to help me save on brakes. If you're coming like hot, as they say, right? You're coming hot, and you don't wanna brake hard coming on the ramp. So anyway, so now we're gonna switch off the sport mode, and the way it works is when you click the sport mode, there's a green flag, kind of like a racing flag, that shows up above the P, like where my gears are. Now it's in D, right? And so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna move the shifter to the left. And now we see over here, this is D, this is M. So now M is lit up. And this is mode 3 that I was talking about. So now we can shift like this. Pulling, you go up. Okay? So this, I find, is the very satisfying mode, because you can shift just like automatic, you know, at like 2000 RPM to save on fuel, but it's fully custom, so it gives you that satisfaction of driving kind of like, you know, like a Lamborghini, right? Like, and of course I have pedal shifters over here. So the right one increases, you go up in gears, the left one you downshift. See, like it says minus over here, minus. And the cool thing about this is that you get the same braking effect as if you're using the sport mode, because, you know, now it's like pretty much semi-auto, right, or semi-manual, and the car uses the gears to slow down, you know. And see, I can shift, let's say I can shift at 2000 RPM. I click the plus thing on here on the right. What I did is I clicked the left one to upshift, I mean downshift, so the car is faster. So now I downshift again, and so yeah, so this is my favorite mode to use this car, just semi-auto, no sport mode, because it gives you the braking, it gives you the custom shifting. You can shift whenever you want, you can shift with fuel economy in mind, or you can shift performance, just stay on the throttle a bit longer, right? This is beautiful. And another cool thing why I think this is so much better than a real manual, actually two things what makes this so much better than a manual transmission, what I had on my Challenger. First of all, there's no clutch, right? You don't need a clutch, that's number one. So you can be much more comfortable, you know, you don't have to be in the position where you use your left foot. And so when I'm turning, because it's not convenient to use the pedal shifters, so when I'm turning the wheel, I always use this. So pull to upshift, push to downshift. And so like I said, the two things that separate this and make it so much more superior to manual transmission in this mode, I would say. So number one, no clutch, as I mentioned, but number two is that you don't have to downshift when you're coming to a stop. Like, you can stop in third gear or fourth gear, and the car will automatically shift into first gear. Like, I usually just, like, there's a drive-in guy, the truck in the front, I usually just downshift to second gear. Okay, so now let's try the sport mode, the most ultimate, I would say, the ultimate mode. So mode number 1 was full auto, right? Mode number 2 was full auto with sport. Mode number 3 was manual, no sport. See now, like I'm downshifting, and when I stop downshifting when I'm second gear, it says M2, and as soon as I stop, it automatically shifts into first gear. So it's so cool. So basically, especially in the city, you just imagine now I would be in 0, right? So I would have to shift into first gear, like fully manual. If I was on my Challenger, I have to shift into first gear, second, third, and then when I come to a stop again, I have to downshift all the way to 0, right? Like here, I'm already in first gear, so there's much less shifting and going up and going down in gears, you know. So this is beautiful. And of course this, the ultimate mode, so manual with sport. The car is very fast, very loud, and has very bad fuel economy. Okay, let's become a bit more aggressive. The guy has a flat tire. So sport mode, fully manual. My favorite 4 ways to shift a Charger. So now we're in second gear. So this guy is a lot of fun, boys and girls. I really love this. Gonna finish this blockbuster here because actually that's where I'm going to bolt and nut supply. I need to buy some fasteners for my trailer. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little video. So now you see now in manual, and actually from manual, one cool thing is that you cannot go into park. Like when you stop, so of course it's automatically now in first gear. I turn on the sport mode, the green flag disappears. I have to shift it to the right in D, and then I can move it like this to park, pushing this button. You see, like it doesn't go unless you push this side button over here. So D, neutral, reverse, and of course as soon as I put it in reverse, my camera comes on here. I can see the surroundings in the back, but this is park, and that's it. So now I can release the brake. I can turn off my ignition because of course in the car you still have power for, I think in this car I have about 30 seconds before everything shuts down, whereas in my semi-truck it's so annoying that I cannot do anything unless it's in run position, you know. Like as soon as you turn off the engine in a semi-truck, everything dies. Like windows don't work, nothing works. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. Ciao.